Hey everybody, it's Melissa, the Unlikely Hiker. Today I have kind of an interesting video. I'm going to dedicate it to my father. My father had a degree in civil engineering, and he spent the majority of his life working for New York State DEC in the Department of Solid Waste. Yes, you heard me right. He designed water treatment facilities and water towers. But there's a lot of things that you can learn from an engineer, because people that become engineers tend to be a very specific kind of person. And even though my dad was not an outdoor kind of guy, you can learn a lot from an engineer if you stop and pay attention. Now, my dad was a very good teacher, and I tended to help him out on projects. So I had to pay attention to what was going on, and I did learn a few things. Here's what I learned from an engineer. First and foremost, anything worth doing is worth doing right. You don't want to half-ass anything that you're doing, and that could be from setting up camp to pitching your tent to planning your route, anything like that. You want to make sure you're doing it correctly. There's always multiple ways to do something, but according to an engineer, there's only one right way. Maybe, I don't know if that's true. You always want to use the right tool for the right job. I know a lot of people like to use their 3-season tent in winter conditions, and maybe where you live, you get to do that. And that's awesome because it's one less piece of gear you have to buy. But here in New York, it's not gonna happen. You need something that's a little bit more durable or designed for the winter. Another example of using the right tool for the right job: clothing, making sure that you have the right clothing for where you're going, what you're doing, when you're gonna be out, how long you're gonna be out. Don't cut corners and don't cut switchbacks. It's not leave no trace. Dig that cat hole. Don't pick rocks and plants up and mess with the environment. Leave it as you found it for others to enjoy. Tie down that tent, stake it out, because you know what? It's gonna be sturdier. And you wanna make sure that you're putting things together correctly. Measure twice and cut once. What I learned from this very specifically was trip planning. I wanna make sure I know the area, I'm familiar with the area. I know bailout points if I need to. What are the crossroads? If I lose all navigation, what direction do I head to find civilization? These are all things you do ahead of time before you make that trip. Structures must bear load efficiently. So if you're going to go out into a snowstorm, make sure your tent can handle that. Or if you're going to go out into windy conditions, make sure your tent isn't going to collapse in on itself because of heavy wind. Structural load. It's a thing and it's important, and use your guidelines. Smart structural design means using smart materials. You want to use materials that are designed for what you're doing. I am all about lightening my pack and kind of being a lightweight. I can't really say I'm ultralight, I try, but you want to lighten your load as best as possible. But using fabrics that are so thin that are not durable is not going to do the trick. So relating this to a backpack, I use a ULA pack because it's a perfect combination of that lightweight and structure together that is going to make it durable and last, and it's just going to work. There's always a solution to a problem. Sometimes you just need to get creative. You can apply this to everyday life. One of my nicknames is Melguyver because I have a knack for coming up with a solution with what I have available. Anybody can do this. Sometimes you just have to stop and focus on what you're doing, which goes into the next item. You can do anything you put your mind to. Giving up is easy, but sticking with something until it's done, that's the hard part, but it can be done. Just remember, having a bad day out on the trail is always better than a good day in the office, because who wants to be inside? I mean, not me. I'd always have a full tank of gas because you can't go on any adventures if you don't have any gas in your car. He also taught me something very important from a very young age. We're all born of this earth and we return to it. It's what you do with that time in between that really matters. And it doesn't even matter what you do so long as you're proud of yourself and you're not wasting those days. So you want to remember to live a full life, to chase your dreams, to do what's important to you, and you want to be kind, you want to smile, and you want to say hello to people. This video is dedicated to my dad, the engineer. He passed away last week. We all miss him very much, but I will always remember the lessons he taught me. Maybe you can learn something from him too. The most important thing I think you should learn from my dad is to be kind, to smile at people, and to say hello, and to be a good neighbor. If we do more of this, I think the world will be a spectacular place. Thanks for being my dad. I'm very grateful. Take care. Have a great day. Bye-bye.